What's up, all my fellow speedsters and all my names throughout the multiverse? It's Kevin here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. So, this is going to be a little bit different than how I usually do my videos. I kind of want to do more voiceover type videos, like video essays. So I'll be doing my Justice League Dark Apokolips War video as kind of like a voiceover. I'll put in some footage that I can use, which will most likely be the trailer, as one, the movie hasn't been out for too long, and two, copyright reasons. So this is gonna be different than how I did my Broly video, as that video was way too long. So I want to do a much more shorter movie review. So how this is gonna work is these are gonna be the guidelines I'm gonna be using for the rest of my movie reviews on this channel. For the first 2 to 3 minutes, I will go into spoiler-free stuff, and then afterwards, I will be going into the spoiler stuff. And once I get into the spoiler stuff, I will be going more in depth into recapping the plot, saying what I like, what I dislike, the pros and cons, all that stuff, and I'll be giving a actual score, since I can't really talk too much about the actual plot itself in my spoiler-free talk. I can only say what my overall thoughts were of the film, so, for obvious reasons, because, spoilers. So I really hope you guys do enjoy this certain style of movie reviews. Now, not all my movie reviews are going to be recorded on Audacity, and some of them will show my face, but, I don't know, I kind of want to have a little bit of a variety on my channel in terms of videos, so I hope you guys do enjoy this type of movie review. So anyway, let's get right into the movie review, starting with the intro. Alright, so Justice League Dark Apokolips War is basically the premise is, like every other superhero movie, good fights evil. It's a back and forth battle throughout the entire film. And the premise of the movie is that after the events of Reign of the Superman, the Justice League and Superman and the Justice League decide to take the fight to Darkseid, and then that's pretty much the premise of the film, setting up the rest of what happens. Darkseid, he's all-powerful, and he has fought the Justice League before, but this time it looks like it's going to be the biggest fight they've ever had yet. And yeah, that's pretty much goes for the rest of the video, or the rest of the movie. Now, I actually really do enjoy this movie. A lot of the other DC anime movies I have seen in this universe have been either good or decent. For example, Son of Batman and the Batman movies so far were pretty good, except for Hush. Hush was pretty bad. And there have been a few exceptions. Now, there are a few movies I haven't seen, like Wonder Woman Bloodlines and stuff like that. So this takes place directly after the events of Reign of the Superman. As you all know from that movie, Cyborg Superman was a product from Apokolips, just like Doomsday. And after a second attempt of an invasion, the Justice League decided to take the fight to Darkseid. This film is pretty good. I will talk more in depth about the plot of the movie than what was shown in the trailers. It's really good. The action's good. The animation is great, except for maybe some parts I will talk about later. And overall, the characters are great. There's a lot of great characters in this movie that I really do enjoy, that I will discuss later. And this involves everybody, as you see in the trailer. So it involves the Justice League, some characters from Titans, the Justice League Dark characters like Constantine, and it's very involved. It's basically this universe's version of Endgame and Infinity War. And overall, this movie is really good. There are a few things that I personally dislike that I will go into my spoiler talk, but overall, I think this movie is really great. Like I said, the acting's great, the animation's great. I really do love the characters, and also the voice acting is really good. And overall, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Now, I don't really think there's anything else I can say about this film without going to spoiler territory. So overall, this movie is really good. I do highly recommend it, and if you are wondering if you have to watch every single movie to understand the plot of this movie, you really don't. You really need to watch Justice League War and maybe the first and second Teen Titans movies, and maybe Son of Batman, and I think you should be good to understand some of the overall plot itself. And I guess maybe Death of Superman and Reign of Superman, but those are pretty much the only movies you really need to see. You don't really need to see every single movie in this universe, to be completely honest, just like a few. And you'll understand the plot pretty fine. Even if you don't watch those movies, you do understand a good premise of it, as some of it is already recapped anyway. All you need to know is what happened during Son of Batman. I mean, what happened in Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman and the first Justice League movie, and you should really be good. The only reason you would probably want to watch Son of Batman and Batman vs. Robin is the stuff that happens with Damian's character, and you might want to watch the Teen Titans movies to understand some of the Damian's relationship with those other characters. But overall, I think that should be it. You should be pretty set for this film. So yeah, that was my spoiler-free talk. Overall, like I said, pretty good film, and I'm gonna go into the more spoiler talk. So let's skip right into the spoiler talk. Alright, so I'm going to be recapping the plot, and then I'll be going into depth of what I liked and what I didn't like about the film. Like I said, this film starts off with Superman telling the team, the Justice League and also the Teen Titans, about their plan to take down Darkseid once and for all, because obviously he isn't in a great mindset after the events of Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman, since, you know, Darkseid has already tried to invade Earth once before, which led to the creation of the Justice League, and he also sent Doomsday and nearly killed Superman, and also Cyborg Superman, to lead another invasion of Earth. And Superman has decided, you know what, enough's enough, we're going to take the fight to Darkseid. Obviously, this does not go well, for very obvious reasons. Before I get any more into this video, I think only one word is needed to describe this movie. Damn. Like, I cannot stress how hard this movie is. Not in a bad way. Like, there are certain scenes where it is very hard to get through, for very obvious reasons. Like, so we all know what happens if you've seen the movie. The Justice League go to Apokolips, get their asses kicked, and most of them are either killed or turned into Darkseid's minions, or they just survive. For example, what happens, we don't really see everything that happens, we just see it in flashback format, which in my opinion is a little disappointing, because I think it'd be really cool to see the full in-depth invasion of Apokolips, but I do like the way they do tell the stories. But basically, yeah, like Green Lantern, Hawkman, wait, no, not Hawkman. Hawkman does technically survive, as he is turned to one of the Cyborg Furies later on. But this fight is brutal. Like, you see what happens. Like, Aquaman gets lasered in half by Darkseid's Omega beams. Well, the other heroes are torn apart. Like, Zatanna is eaten alive. And yeah, a lot of the characters die. The only characters that really survive that aren't really turned to Darkseid's minions are Constantine and I think Superman and Lex Luthor, but I think that's pretty much it. Everybody else was either killed or turned to Darkseid's minions. Like, Batman is put in the Mobius chair and serves Darkseid. Wonder Woman, Mira, Starfire, Hawkman, and Martian Manhunter are all turned into cyborgs and are turned to Furies. Also, before I get into anywhere else, let's talk about Starfire. We didn't see her death, but goddamn, man, like, she gets, like, we see her body in that flashback with Damian. Like, she is torn in half. Like, it is brutal. Like, I am actually pretty surprised they were able to get away with this. I know this was an R-rated movie, but goddamn. And also, I feel so bad for some of the Titans characters. Like, we didn't even get to spend all that much time. Like, look at the new 52 Wally West that they brought in. He did not have a single line, and he gets killed off in this movie. The same movie he's introduced. They Quicksilver that man. Yeah, pretty much all the Titans are dead. Like, some of the older Titans that we see in Judas Contract in the flashback, like Speedy and Bumblebee return, they are killed off. Bumblebee gets stabbed. Like, Bumblebee has a bunch of spikes in her back. Blue Beetle gets slammed on the ground and gets stomped on by a Paradoom, because Darkseid, of course, found a way to merge Parademons with Doomsday, which is why it was very hard for Superman to go through that battle. Also, let's talk about Shazam for a second. To be honest, I kind of wish we got to see more of Shazam. Like, Shazam was in Justice War and Throne of Atlantis, and that's it. And then he's in this movie, and he gets killed off later on in the film. Although he is saved from the first initial attack, which in my opinion, I kind of wish Shazam's character would have been in a more leading role, as this would have been a good way to mature his character. That's one of my main complaints about this movie, is Shazam as an overall character. Shazam kind of seems like more of a side character, but in this universe, Shazam is a founding member of the Justice League, and he does nothing. Cyborg saves Shazam, but he gets killed off later in the movie. Like, he gets his leg ripped off, but he has a new one that's made of electricity, and he gets killed off later on anyway. So, yeah, after the failure of the first attack, Darkseid sends his Paradooms to Earth. The Titans were essentially the defending force for Earth, and that did not go well. Pretty much all the Titans, except for Robin, Superboy, and Raven, survive. Everybody else is killed. Like, Nightwing gets stabbed, Blue Beetle gets stomped on, the rest of them die off screen, but we do see their bodies. Wonder Girl, I'm assuming, dies. That's one character also that I kind of wish they went more in depth in another Titans movie that I wish we did get, because they did have a cliffhanger revealing Jericho, but that never really went anywhere. So I am wondering what will eventually happen. What's going to happen with that plot line, and also with Wonder Girl, as Wonder Girl was teased at the end of Judas Contract, but none of that ever happened. Like, Wonder Girl is just in the movie, and she doesn't even have like a single line in any of her appearances. We don't even see her body, so I assume that she survived, but she wasn't even in the final battle in any of the locations. So I'm assuming that she died off screen somewhere, but we just don't know. Anyways, 2 years pass, and the world has gone to complete another shit. Like, the world, like, most of the population is dead. Like, everything is in chaos and destruction. Parademons are roaming the earth, pretty much, as we see in the bar scene. We cut to Constantine being visited by Superman and Raven. We didn't see that Constantine actually ran from that initial battle. However, it's revealed that Batman told Satan to cast a spell on Constantine in order to have a contingency in case if anything went wrong, because, you know, Batman has his contingencies. Of course, Constantine is recruited by Superman to finally win this second round, but of course he's reluctant, but he agrees. And also there's Etrigan. Let's talk about Etrigan. Etrigan was probably one of the best characters in this movie, hands down, other than maybe Constantine. Like, Etrigan was so hilarious, and I was so disappointed that they killed him off. And yeah, it was just so disappointing that they killed off his character. His character was so funny, although he did go down to fighting Wonder Woman, so that is one hell of a way to go for his character. Of course, they need Constantine to find Damian. Damian, of course, hates Superman because it was his idea. It wasn't even the Justice League's idea. It was his idea to go to Darkseid and take the fight to him. And because of that, he lost Batman, his father, Nightwing, his brother-in-arms, and the Titans, the only family he really had that wasn't Batman, because Talia died during Batman Bad Blood, and all the Titans are dead except for Raven and Superboy. But Superboy, man, I feel bad for Superboy. Superboy has the most merciful death out of everybody, but even still, like, Superboy gets his neck snapped like a twig. And I felt so bad for him, especially since he was only in one movie, and that's it. One movie, and he gets killed off to the next. But yeah, we do see the development between Damian and Raven's relationship, which As someone who is not a big fan on shipping, as someone who also thinks shipping is annoying, I really did love the relationship between Damian and Raven. They had such great chemistry because it was fully built up and the relationship didn't take too much of the plot and wasn't made too big of a deal out of, and I really did enjoy the two characters interacting. Of course, we see Raven has her own problems in this movie as she's trying to keep Trigon at bay, as she is physically drained for keeping Trigon at bay, and of course this is making her weak as she looks extremely weak throughout this entire movie until the end. Then we see that Damian brings Lady Shiva with him only to get her killed later on in the film. We do see Lois as part of a fight club and is fighting Harley Quinn, which was so cool. And we also see a funny scene with Constantine and Captain Boomerang, which was really hilarious. And we also see that Constantine's ex is King Shark, which was so funny. And we see that the Suicide Squad is owned by Harley now, and that there are a bunch of new members now, like Bane, King Shark, and Black Manta, which I thought was pretty cool. We also get to see a lot of other characters later on, like we get to see Swamp Thing, the purple chick from Justice League Dark. I don't remember her character's name because I didn't see that movie, but I did see a lot of clips. We get to see a lot of characters like Batgirl, Batwoman, Batwing, however all of them die. I don't know about Batwoman and Batwing because we don't actually see them physically die, but I think it's implied that they do die. Because I know Batwoman gets tackled by a Paradoom, but Batwing gets shot by a laser in the back, but we don't actually see him crash or die. But it's implied that he's dead too. Also Shazam, like his last words were the word that gives him his power, which was Shazam, and he killed a bunch of parademons, and it's assumed that he's dead in the process because he either died in that explosion or he bled out, because if he turns back into Billy, he will be missing a leg and he'll probably just bleed out and die. So it is really unfortunate what happens to a lot of these characters, because this movie is really brutal. Like, it is very hard to get through this movie at certain points, not in a bad way, but just like it's really gruesome. Did DC went a little overboard? I think a little bit, but I do think it was necessary to show how high the stakes were. Anyways, they eventually make their way to Lex Tower and go to Apokolips. Some of the other characters stay behind, like the Suicide Squad and Lex stay behind to fight off the Paradooms. We see that the Furies fight what's left of the defending force of Earth, and we see that Cyborg also is controlling all the Furies, but he is set free. We also see that Flash was kept as a battery and has been running for essentially 2 years straight, which I'm wondering how he's still alive if he wasn't properly fed, because he is extremely skinny. We also find out that what I thought was kind of interesting was that Darkseid was made into a threat because of Flashpoint, and which later sets up what happens at the end of the movie with Barry resetting everything by going back in time to set up Rebirth if they do have plans to make that film, because I do remember hearing reports saying that unfortunately that this was the last movie in this universe, and I think they said that they were going back to making standalone movies. Like Man of Tomorrow, I think is going to be its own separate thing, which I will talk about that in a separate video. But anyway, we do see a bunch of fights, like Etrigan dies fighting Wonder Woman. Constantine sets Wonder Woman free, and Wonder Woman stays behind to fight the other Furies until they can set the other Furies free, which they do when they find the Cyborg, and a fight between Darkseid and the rest commences. We also see Damian fight Batman. Batman eventually breaks the spell that, or he breaks the control that Darkseid has over him, but unfortunately Damian is shot by Omega Beams, and he is supposedly killed. And yeah, this movie is actually brutal, especially what happens on Oa. Like, essentially all the Green Lanterns are dead, the Guardians are dead, the power battery is destroyed, so none of the Green Lanterns have any power if any Green Lanterns were off-world at the time. But damn, like, Kilowog is one of my favorite Green Lanterns, and he's getting his neck snapped like that. Like, it was brutal in this movie. with what happens. And anyway, we see that Trigon is eventually released because of Raven's rage. Trigon uses Superman's body, and Trigon Superman supposedly quote-unquote kills Constantine. Of course, he gets brought back to life later on by Satana, and Raven also becomes White Raven and revives Robin. And we finally get to see the scene where Raven tells Robin or Damian that she loves him, which I thought was a really beautiful scene. I really like the way they did that. We also see a fight commences between Darkseid and Superman until Trigon intervenes and he fights Darkseid, and Cyborg opens a boom tube, and the rest escape except for him because he is permanently connected to Apokolips. And he sends Apokolips to another boom tube, which I'm assuming is a black hole because the entire planet is just destroyed, and sucking in Trigon and Darkseid. And yeah, and the other, like the Cyborg Furies, return good, and everybody else leave Earth and reunite at what's left of Titan's Tower. Not really defeated, they did win in the end, but at what cost? We find out that a lot of the magma core of the planet is gone, and the planet's become unstable. It will either freeze or it will explode. And so it ultimately comes down to the decision that Constantine sends the Flash back in time to fix everything. And it is really unfortunate that it came to that, but they really had no choice. Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with the way this film ended, as they just hit the reset button, but to be completely honest, I kind of assumed something like this was going to happen, as in every Crisis event, DC has done something like this before. And to be completely honest, I'm actually fine with this ending, as with this, it's a way to reset everything and to create a brand new continuity. And this could have, and if they do plan on doing a Rebirth universe of films just like here, I do hope we get to see, for example, Flash Rebirth. We get to see the return of Ginger Wally West, who, by the way, was in the Flashman of Judas contract and was never seen again. So I'm wondering if they're going to go with what they did in the comics with Rebirth, how Wally went to the Speed Force at some point and Barry gets him out. And I'm hoping this will also branch out to other movies like Super Sons, which I really hope they do a movie on, because Super Sons is an amazing storyline. Dark Knight's Metal, and Doomsday Clock, and so many other films. But yeah, that's the recap. Now we're going to talk about the cons before the pros, because I already kind of talked about the pros in the beginning. So the cons, personally, I think that this movie could have been split into two parts. That's one of my pet peeves with this movie, as the beginning felt kind of rushed, and I feel like even though it would be even more painful to go through, I feel like we needed to see what really happened instead of Superman just narrating it. I think we actually need to see the actual battle, the struggles with the heroes, and then their ultimate defeat. And then in the next film will be the time skip. But at the same time, I understand why they didn't do this. I think the main reason they didn't do this was because they didn't want to seem like they were copying Marvel with Infinity War and Endgame. So I'm willing to let that slide. It's just a little nitpick. Another nitpick, it's just in the animation. I do mention this in my reaction, how at certain points they switch from the regular 2D animation to 3D and CG animation with the Paradooms. Now I don't know why they did this. It's probably due to budget or something, or a time saver, but either way, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. It kind of reminded me back when I watched Dragon Ball Super Broly, how they went from the 2D animation to 3D animation during the Broly and Gogeta fight, but it's just a little nitpick I have. And overall, I do think the beginning was a bit rushed, but I do still like this movie. Don't get me wrong, it's still really good. There's just a little issues I do have with the movie, and I feel like there are certain characters that deserve more of the spotlight. Like, for example, Shazam. I think what would have been really cool for Shazam's character is to come up and become a leader, and not Superman. Superman had his chance, and it led them to their deaths. As someone who was a survivor of what happened, he would become the leader, and I think that would have been really cool for his character. He could still die sacrificing himself, but ultimately becoming a leader, it would have brought a lot more depth to his character, in my opinion, because he feels very underutilized in this universe. Like, even in Justice League War and Throne of Atlantis, he didn't really do anything impactful. But yeah, those are my only complaints about the movie. Overall, the movie's pretty good. Animation, action, voice acting, all of it's good. Yeah, I actually really do enjoy this movie. This movie's great. It's a good ending to this 15 movie arc that they set up all the way back in, what, 2013 or something? I actually don't remember exactly when this was set. But yeah, overall, this film is really good. Great action, great storytelling, great voice acting, especially from I can't remember the actor's name that plays Damien. Like him and the actress that played Raven did an amazing job. And I can't believe how much Damien's voice actor's voice has changed over the years. But you know, puberty is a thing. But even still, it was really cool with Damien's growth. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Damien, but in my personal opinion, Damien is one of my favorite Robins and probably one of my favorite characters in this universe. And I really do hope that they do a Rebirth universe, that they keep the relationship between Raven and Robin or Raven and Damien, as in my opinion that is a really good relationship that they do have, and I really hope they keep that. And this is coming from someone, myself, who absolutely hates shipping with a passion, and I will make myself a shipper for this one instance, just this one instance. And overall, this film was really good. Another thing I want to touch upon before I end this video is the quote at the beginning from Flashpoint, how you have to accept the things you can't change and accept what you can, and knowing the difference between the two. I thought that line from Flashpoint was so good, how, you know, in the comics, how Barry's mom's destiny was to die and Barry had to accept that. I thought that was a really cool line, and I think in a way that should, if they do another universe, they should make a sequel to this, showing Barry maybe potentially going back in time several times, trying to change everything. I think that would have been a great movie for them to end on, is Barry accepting the things that he can't change and accepting what he can. And overall, yeah, this is a great movie. I really enjoyed it, and unfortunately this was not as short as I wish it would have been. I was really hoping that this was a 10-minute review, but this ultimately it's at the 27-minute mark right now, so I'm gonna try and end it pretty soon. Overall, this movie is great. I only have a few issues with this movie, so as a final rating, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie. The plot is kind of predictable at certain points, except for the deaths. Some of the deaths were kind of unpredictable, but overall the plot was kind of predictable, and the certain nitpicks I have did take me out of the film. But overall, this movie is really good for a straight-to-digital movie and a DC animated movie. In fact, I will put this up there with Flashpoint and Death of Superman and Batman Under the Red Hood. This would be my top 4 DC animated movies ever. This will probably be either in the number 2 or maybe even the number 1 category. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably make a separate video of me ranking all the DC animated movies, so I really hope you guys do enjoy that. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to end it right here. Tell me in the comments what you thought of the movie, and also what are your thoughts. What would you rate this movie? What would you change about this movie if you have certain issues? I'd like to get that discussion rolling in the comments, and I really hope you guys do enjoy the next coming videos coming to my channel. So yeah, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start posting more stuff about the channel and just posting in general on Instagram a lot more. And yeah, like I said, I'll post in the comments and on a discussion tab what types of videos you want me to react to, or what types of videos you want me to do in general. And yeah, all that good stuff. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.